Okay, it's Fun Day Monday. Happy Juneteenth holiday. I don't know who had to work today, but some people did. Some people did. Some people, they on their hustle all day, every day, every week, even during the holiday. That's their second job, third job, fifth job, whatever they do. It's like on the side, they side hustle. But while we're waiting for people to get in here on Fun Day Monday, for everybody that's watching the recordings, okay, so first, I want to say for those who don't follow on other mediums that didn't know that we had a situation here at our house where we had a fire that could have got worse than what it was. But I'm telling you, can't nobody shake my faith. God is out there and He is watching and looking over us, okay? Because while we slept, there was a fire and God stopped it right where it was. And it took out our AC, but it was all right because insurance covered everything. So we didn't have, big expenses and things like that. So we had two insurance companies because you know how that go. It's like, well, one company you might have a big expense to pay for the deductible, but another insurance company that takes care of, the little knickknacks or whatever, they don't have as much of a big um, out of pocket expense for deductible. So I would strongly advise you have two insurance companies. One where it's like, okay, you might have a big deductible, but if it's something big that happens, you want them to take care of it. And another one is like, okay, they're going to take care of all the little things and it's no big deal or whatever. Definitely do that. That was, let me tell you, when I realized what happened, when I realized what the blessing was that we were spared from, man, that praise break was real, okay? Let me just say. So yeah, why she always smiling? Because she got something to smile about, okay? It ain't this hair. This hair be looking like, dang, is she ever gonna get that hair right? Mm-mm. Tell you what you can do though. You can hit my account with some funds, and then you can talk about my hair. All right, you can talk about this abusive relationship I'm in with my hair. Outside of that, I'm gonna talk about it. So you can just sit there and laugh at it. Don't act like you don't have an abusive relationship going on with your body somewhere, so body parts multiple, I got some issues going on. So, but anyway, so to recap from last week, I talked about, you know, uh, your roots, right? It's like a lot of people they soar until somebody brings them back down to earth and puts limitations and boundaries on them. But the objective is to rethink about your boundaries and think of it more as a platform to jump from after you have rested from soaring. So your perception is limited if you change your perception of what these things are that bind you, like your roots and things like that. It's not binding you, it's keeping you grounded so you have a safe destination to rest on so that you can continue on your future endeavors safely and well rested. So, anyway, don't forget you have a good testimony, and somewhere somebody didn't hear it. So tell it, keep telling it, and somebody's going to hear it, and it's going to help them build their foundation to leap from. Okay, and also talked about knowledge hiding in business. Now, it's a newly exposed culture in the workforce. You know how by the time the researchers get to it, the African American community is like, oh, that's old news. That's old news. We always knew about that. um, Knowledge hiding culture is when like your supervisor or your boss, they know what you're supposed to do and they're supposed to train you in order to do your job, but they don't. They hide the information and they only give you just enough so that you can have um, an epiphany or a revelation, and then they say, "Oh, you thought of that? Where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that information from?" And then you say, "I just thought of it off the top of my head." "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And the only reason why they're trying to ask you if you're sure that that's where you got it from is because they're getting ready to covet your intellectual property, and you're not going to be aware of it because they're going to fire you or get you fired or make you voluntarily quit, which is a part of retention, job retention. That's why job retention is so high. But now researchers are starting to um, dive more into why companies are having high turnover rates and retention issues, and why are people quitting their job. And right now it's funny because we're in a great recession of people, and then people are just dropping out their job, like jumping out like, I quit. Like, wait a minute, we're in a recession. How you quit your job in a recession? So that's going to be a very interesting study. uh but that's just the researcher in me that's thinking it's funny. But and a joke. I love the joke. It's like, what? How y'all quitting in the middle of a recession? Who does that? But anyway, take everything I say with a grain of salt, like my elders used to say back in the day, before they give you some cold hard facts, some stuff that's hard to deal with. Because yeah, that's real. But you have to understand the reason for me telling you in those videos that you need to tell someone when this is happening to you is because nobody knows. You're fired, you're gone, and then you like drop mic, I'm out. You may curse somebody out at the the lower level. That supervisor knew what he was doing. He knew he had that curse out coming too. But guess what? He don't care because he's getting ready to get paid, or she getting ready to get paid after stealing your intellectual property or getting you off the scene. So now they could take all the credit for what you did. But you have to keep telling, because stakeholders, investors, and global minded business people, they can't tolerate liabilities like that. And that's a liability, because should you get it get that information to the right people, right? If you tell the boss's boss that did that to you, and they say, what? They did what? Then what's going to happen is a chain reaction, that person is going to now be under investigation. And now you're gonna get some things moving because you told, and you didn't just tell your supervisor, your manager, their manager. You keep going up the chain of command and tell, because the stakeholders and investors and global minded business people, they can't tolerate liabilities like that, because they'll lose their profits in litigations and lawsuits and settlements. So if you don't tell, they don't know why they losing money. They don't know why the business is failing, but it's going to fail. And then eventually when the news gets out, everybody's going to lose their job, because now the company has no credibility, and they would like to get ahead of that. But a lot of people in the minority communities, they feel like nobody listens, nobody's going to care, so why should I say anything anyway? Besides, I already got a new job. Look, it matters. And if you want to like be anonymous and telling, do that, but still tell, even if you don't feel like you understand the depth of how it's going to affect the company or the business or business practices, period. Because it's not just about that one company, it's about various business practices, because it's a business model. And it's like, if this business model is productive because people are patronizing it or whatever, they're going to say, oh, this business practice works. And they don't even know that it doesn't work. You were just kind enough to just, say, hey, well, that's the way business is. So that's how I'm going to do it. So it's whatever. It is what it is. A lot of people like to say it is what it is. Hey, Teddy, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hitting them comments. So there's a cap on how much money they're willing to give you to screw you over, so to speak. But they don't want to be close to that number, because that's their safety net. That's, for little peccadillos that, they get caught up in. For example, if the supervisor, gets caught in a harassment suit, they have like little settlements that they give you a couple of thousand, $400,000 for, but they don't want to keep coming too close to their safety cap litigation monies, because they'll lose their profits. And like I said in the last video, some companies, they're global minded, and they can't go into other industries and overseas and things like that, and they can't partner with sister companies and things like that that have more reputable reputations if they get caught up in particular litigation suits. So you have to think of it that way. Think of it that this is deeper than just you. It's deeper than just you. So you have to tell what's going on with you so the companies and know what's going on with their investment, with their business, with their bottom line. Okay. Um, but they don't they don't dismiss it, but they won't broadcast it as much. So you have to make sure that you broadcast your testimony so that other people will know. But that's American business. But businesses overseas, they don't do that. And a lot of these companies here in America want to go overseas to do business because you have to stretch your money, you have to grow your money. You can't just stay in America. I mean, you could be stationed in America, but you still have to grow your business and go into other countries in order to continue to grow. And those countries overseas, they have morals. They have morals, and you don't want to lose that. So it's invaluable information I'm giving you in these videos, but I could give it to you in one word: tell. Okay. Everybody's like, oh, don't tell, because it's important, it's invaluable to tell. Okay. Uh, like who your daddy really is, what your mama did before she got religion. Just like you telling, yeah, you telling it because it's kids out there, they don't know, but it's a nice way to say everything. Um, and you have to be careful, like because people mamas, they get saved. Like my mama's so saved. How saved is she tell you repent every 5 minutes just to be on the safe side. Like, don't risk it. I'm just kidding. So it's like she got married, so it takes the edge off. Now you can repent every 10 minutes. I'm just saying, my mama care about your soul. They don't just birth you and say, "Hey, you can risk it." I don't want to see you end up in hell just because it took 9 months to make you. They want to see you make it in, so don't risk it. Like Mama say, no, don't risk it. I don't talk about my mother much, but she's hilarious. Uh, some people don't talk about other people until they long gone for a good reason. Like my big mama. I talk about my daddy all the time, but it's in a facetious manner. It's not really, and it's exaggerated. It's always exaggerated for the fun of it. Okay, so it's like Big Mama, right? Uh, some of the guys in the family that she raised, they still don't talk about Big Mama, and she been gone for like 2 decades and no 3 decades, and like a couple of generations of kids later, they still not willing to risk it. Big Mama was a pistol. Big Mama, ooh, she knew how to put, like all these rings, all that she owned on one hand, and she'll knock you clean out. Okay, it didn't matter how old or young you were. These days, people slapping teddy bears. Don't worry, I don't have my teddy bear today. They slapping teddy bears to give you to get you a good example of what they'll do to you. Big Mama didn't need nothing. She just needed you to say one thing the wrong way at the right time. And then she was going to use you as an example. And everybody else is going to fall in line. Everybody else is going to fall in line. Let me tell you, Big Mama was no joke, but it was hilarious. As long as you wasn't the example, it was hilarious. Because I promise you, when you're getting up off the floor, ain't nothing funny. Not to you, but to everybody that's watching. It's hilarious. But I don't talk much about my mother because she's sensitive. How sensitive is she? She's so sensitive that she could say anything to you. And it's like crickets. And she'll be like, what was that look? What was that look? You're like, look, what look? I wasn't looking, see? I can't see nothing. My eyes closed. People with their eyes closed can't see nothing. She'll still be like, no, you meant something. Y'all saw you looking. So some people you just can't talk about until like it's long, long over. Okay, but it's all right. Uh, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. But even jokes, you can't make jokes because she old school. She like that wasn't funny. Back in the day, church women, church mothers, they be like, uh, you tell one joke. It's just that one joke because they don't do a whole bunch of jokes. And they ram up the joke is Jesus take the wheel. That's hilarious. You so funny. You so is funny. But don't go no further than that. And then you go, Jesus, don't take the wheel. You're like, oh no, baby. No, no. You go on back and you go somewhere and sit down. You ain't funny no more. And then they go back to telling that same joke you had before. Jesus take the wheel. You sure is funny. Quick, why you ahead? Well, boy, you can't talk about the church folks unless you were the church folks. And then you can talk about the church folks. That's why I miss my boy Tim. It's a never ending comedy show going on in my head. Y'all don't know, but he knew. Anyway, I miss him. Okay, but anyway, now that people are here, hey everybody, hey everybody, I see y'all in them comments laughing at me. Stop laughing, stop laughing. Let's talk about Father's Day. Um, you know, I know some people are like, nah, let's not. We talked about Mother's Day, so let's talk about Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there who allowed your kids to know you they daddy. Let's start there. But no, there are some fathers out there who actually do love on their babies and take time to spend with their babies outside of chasing people to put on their team to make new babies. Like what? Really? I don't know what that's about. Okay, let's talk about what fathers are doing right and what you doing wrong. Now, if you're a right guy, take these things into perspective and help your boys out because you can't have but one wife. I'm just saying. So the information that you got, share that with your boys. Watch your seeds. I was watching my boy Mike and Phil's show, and I was my internet just wasn't mixing enough for the speak to text to get it right, and I was doing other things, and but I'm trying to support the shows that support me and watching me and my husband. So I try to watch everything. So I'm trying to also participate in them comments, and it just wasn't coming out right. So what I was saying was, you got to watch your seeds, man. You want to be on child support? I mean, that's not. Is that the goal? Child support is the new street cred, like going to jail for rappers. It's like the way the child support set up. No. But for real, you can't live after paying child support. That's why most guys don't have a job. Yeah, that's not funny. It's not cool, and that's not the way to live your life. Watch your seed, and you won't have to worry about that. Watch where you put your seed. Men always talked about some women knew that the guy was a dog before she got with him, and if he not taking care of somebody else's kids, what makes you think he gonna take care of your kids once he get you pregnant? Look, how about this, guys? You know that she ain't trying to hide nobody kids. Even if she get pregnant, she ain't trying to take care of the kid. So why you sitting there dropping your seed, leaving your seed there? Then you turn around talking about you want to be recognized for Father's Day. For what? Abandoning your seed with somebody that you knew wasn't trying to have no kids? Stop playing. Y'all need to help your boys and warn them. They all be working for free after they finish getting paid, getting on child support. They gonna all be working for free. Fathers want to make entire miracles for Father's Day happen. They want you to do all kinds of stuff. But it's like, I don't know. He ain't got a promotion on his job in like forever, if he even have a job. Meanwhile, you talking about he babysitting. What? Your own kids? Mm-mm. But you want to make a whole miracle happen for Father's Day suddenly. Not with stuff like, oh, I'm babysitting my kids. No, you ain't babysitting your kids. You taking care of your kids, right? Is what you meant. You don't never hear a mother say, oh, I'm babysitting my kids. What? So that's why they celebrate Mother's Day. So take note after mothers, and then we'll start being excited about Father's Day as we are about Mother's Day. But there are some good guys out there, but y'all got to put yourself out there, advertise it a little bit more and help your brothers by telling them, look, that's not cool. Don't do that. And then you'll start to see, because a lot of sisters, what they do is they'll tell they female friends and sisters and whatnot, nah, girl, that's not cool. You know, guys be wanting a woman to cook, clean, deal in front of them and rant on some random BS, but you one word texting her. Where they do that at? Now it's like she take 9 months of struggling to have a baby, and the kids don't even come out looking like her. They come out looking like somebody else, so the other person gets the credit. Meanwhile, she takes care of the baby, and the guys can't even claim the baby, even though they look alike. But you babysit. Who bogus? And then you want whole miracles to happen for you for Father's Day. Y'all gonna have to miss me with that. Anyway, let's talk about the good fathers. So the good fathers out here, for example, I encourage my husband to spend time with his sons. I encourage my brothers of all sorts to spend time with their kids, even their nephews and nieces or whatever. So it's not about just who the father is, um, by blood, but by reaction and actions. So all of those fathers out there who are loving on somebody else's child, whether it's yours or not, or you quote unquote babysitting your kids, happy Father's Day, because you're putting forth some sort of effort and going against the grain in a time where it's not even cool to do those things. And the more you do it and the more you put yourself out there to show yourself to be an example, the more it's going to trend and more people are going to start doing it. And then Father's Day is going to be just as, popular as Mother's Day. Um, Meanwhile, some of these people, these guys, that you're on a team. The guys out here, they're like, well, I got this girl that I put her on the team. I put her on the team. And then meanwhile, you're a part of a team. Okay. You probably the starting lineup for the summer. And then you got that trap season. And then you try to knock everybody out the box. But look, if you know that, you're a part of a team, know your teammates. That's all. Now look, ladies, just know your rotation. Okay, know your rotation of the roster a little better, so when you end up in paternity court, you only have to bring the all stars to the lineup and not your entire playbook. All right, because what's makes a woman look worse than a man is when she's doing the same thing as him, but there's no evidence for the guy. There's only evidence for the woman when she's trying to figure out or show him that he is her baby's father. She may already know, but he knew his teammates. So he's like, nah, 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 that's not mine. That's that dude right there. I know that. That's that. They got their funny way of walking right there. See, that's that guy's. And that's why it's important for you to know who your rotation is, because when you start to say, oh, well, I'm pregnant, I don't really know. It might be, it could be. You have this particular rotation of people, because some guys all sitting out there talking big talk. You're lasting 2 seconds. That's why she got a whole lineup, whole all star. She calling in like it's gonna tag team. You gotta go. It's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock a.m. I need you gotta go. But anyway, I'm just joking. I'm just saying. I ain't judging. That's what it is. So guys, when you know you're on the team, just know some stuff about your teammate. So when the kid get old enough to start asking about their father, you able to say, "Oh yeah, I know him. He a cool cat." Now the mama probably not gonna tell the story that way. So everybody's two sides to a coin, okay? Guys gonna tell the story one way to the kid, and the women are gonna tell the story another way to the kids. So just make sure that the kid innocent. They nice to be here. So get a kid the story from both sides and let both sides tell who the person is that made them. Everybody want to understand that they were made with love and they were expected, at the very least they were expected once they were known that they were coming. So tell them about their father, and just understand, say it nicely, and tell the kids, because that's a gift that's going to keep on giving, that this child now has some information about their father that they wouldn't have had before. So tell the kid, because they're this innocent party to all of that. Don't put them out there like that. Anyway, the kids don't ask to be here, but once they are given the gift of knowing who their parents are, it's a nice way to say everything. And it's hard for kids these days. It's not like it used to be. Kids, they got it really tough these days, and every day they making the tough decision to keep living another day. So tell these kids who their father is. And even if you don't want to be with their father, celebrate their father. Let them know who their father is. Tell their father Happy Father's Day. And tell the kid, encourage the kid to say Happy Father's Day. Because that little bit of love will go a long way. And you don't want it to be that, oh, well, it's Father's Day and I feel bad because I don't have no daddy, or I don't have nobody to say Happy Father's Day to, or I don't even know who I should be looking at to try to say Happy Father's Day or do a little something because it's Father's Day. So don't do the kids like that. And the guys who are out here loving on these children and saying, well, I'll be a father figure in your life, even if it's from the church, the school, or whatever the community is. Love on them kids and let them know that it don't end just because you have issues. Okay, that's not the way it works. It's despite the fact that you have issues, this is still working for you. That's what you got to understand. That's what we need to focus on, the positives of the facts. So be kind to the innocent products of the games adults play. I'm just saying, value what you have, because nobody wants your man or your woman, but there's always someone who's willing to take him or her. Let that sink in to the next time. But I'm not gonna go there, because yeah, it's a lot of people who, feel some type of way about that sort of thing. So I don't wanna, you know, ruffle your feathers too much, because people feel like, oh well, you who are you to be telling my baby daddy happy Father's Day? That's my baby daddy. I say he trash, so you don't tell him nothing. hold on, hold on. Just because you don't like your baby daddy, or y'all out of talking terms or whatever, at one point in time y'all wasn't. One point in time y'all did some things that made this child, that made that person a father and connected y'all for life. So don't sit there and say, oh, well, somebody can't do nice or right with this person because y'all not on good terms or whatever. Don't do that. Don't do that. You have to understand that there's an innocent life that was produced from these adults playing these games. Don't chime in and jump into them games, because these days it just don't work out well. It doesn't, and we don't want to keep on messing with these people mental health, because you don't know what's gonna pop off when you at the grocery store, you at the skating rink, you at the Walmart, or wherever these places are that's on the news, where they're saying, oh, suddenly a random shooter or suddenly a random shooting happened, and whatever the case. Stop doing that. So what we need to do is start building up people mental health, so that they can say, hey, I feel comfortable. I may not be happy about it, but I feel comfortable enough to at least be safe with myself and others around. So don't keep messing with people, because it's just not going to end well, because it doesn't stop there. Now, there's a couple of things with knowledge hiding that doesn't stop there. And that's why I was trying to help you to understand that, you know, you catch them in the street, it still don't stop there. You say, oh, so you're in the office and that boss is real tripping, really, really tripping, hardcore tripping. You're like, who you think you talking to? I'm a grown, whatever, whatever. I beat your so and so, so and so. Meet me outside. Meet me outside, and you go, you meet them outside, but it don't end there. Okay. And a lot of times when you grown people out here meeting somebody somewhere, 50 right there meeting you too. So you got to be really careful about what you're doing. And you have to know the law. For example, um, when I had this aquarium made, right? This one, um, the guy who made it, they attached my water pump to their system because they wanted to test it out, and it was a big deal. It never had been thought of before. I told them to build it in the way I wanted them to build it because they could custom make what you want. And they put it all together, and they had that water pump, going and whatever. And it was like, wait a minute. I went to sleep one night, woke up, and there was a leak. And I'm like, what's leaking? It's not possible that it's leaking. What's going on? They playing with my pump because my pump was programmed on they device or whatever, so they could play with it. But they thought that it was just a minor thing that they had done because the law. You have to understand, X number of thousands of dollars. Once you hit $10,000 of damages or stealing and you just stole $10,000 worth of something, you reached a different level of the law, and you don't want to do that. For example, these snatch and grabs in these stores, everybody's on because it's such a chaotic world right now. People going out there snatching and grabbing, and they breaking into the store and they snatch those X number of thousands of dollars. But as long as you don't go over $10,000 at that particular location, then you'll be all right in a legal sense. You still gonna get in trouble, depending on your culture. But I'm just saying the fact is what it is. So you want to make sure that you understand the laws of the different things of that you're doing, these little minor sins and offenses that you're doing, so that you know how to, stay in the middle. Just doing just enough wrong, just enough right, and just know what you're doing, what you say. Grown people don't play fight. Grown people don't play fight. But you know what I have seen? I have seen them on TikTok acting like they hitting that girl or whatnot. I don't play hitting games. You can hit me one way and that's it. But outside of that, I'm not trying to play them hitting games because they're hitting. Somebody gonna get their feelings hurt. Somebody gonna get in their feelings. Then it's gonna be a whole big problem that was avoidable. For example, I got them words for you. I got them words for you. You're gonna say something stupid to me, you're gonna do something. You're not gonna come close enough to hit me. That's why I got these words for you. But these words gonna hit you different. It depends on where your headspace at. So you just realize that. But they say, oh well, you hit me first. You hit me first. That's the difference. That's the difference. If you hit me first, all bets are off. All bets are off. And nowadays, cameras are everywhere. So you're not going to get away with much of anything. Back in the day, though, back in the day, it was such a big world. Papa was a Rolling Stone was a whole song. It was a whole song. If you haven't heard it, go hear it. Papa could be living, he could have a family right here and next door, and neither one of them know each other. That was back in the day. That was back in Big Mama day and her parents and grandparents day. You can have a whole family and they live right across the street. Everybody in the neighborhood related, and nobody even know because Papa was a Rolling Stone. But nowadays, it's a small world, like Baby Kids. Robin Harris was like, small world. Yeah, it's a small world now because you got the internet, you got cell phones, you got everybody in everybody's business, and everybody just ready to put you on blast. And it's like, man, you can't have no business of your own because everybody know your business. And you're like, man, why is everybody in my business? Everybody in your business because nobody wants to embrace the background. Everybody wants to put their business out there, but when it comes to what's going on with your job, nobody wants to say something. Somebody say, "Hey, come, won't you come take this survey? Here, take this survey." Nobody wants to take the survey. Nobody wants to participate. But you still on, TikTok and YouTube and all kind of things, telling all the business, but you're not telling the right business. So if you tell the right business, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have more reaction that you really want to see instead of always having to react to things. They'll be proactive. That means it'll happen before it needs to, before it's a problem for you, because you already told, you put it out there. So with the knowledge hiding culture, if you expose them, and the only way they could be exposed is okay, so off the bat, they already try to get you to feel like you can't say nothing because they have a do not disclose sign that you thing you sign. But you can still talk about your testimony in a way, in a roundabout way, so everybody knows that that's the person that you're talking about, and you can complain. Writing a complaint is not the same as going against the contract that you have that says don't tell anybody what you're going through. And let me tell you this, if they have a signature that I mean, if they have a contract out there where you have to put your signature on there in order not to disclose what's going on, you might want to take a second thought about what's going on and consult legal advice so that you will know what you can and cannot say. But again, take what I'm saying to you in this free video with a grain of salt, because you have to understand there's a repercussion for everything. And the question is, are you ready for it? Okay, so you might take them to court. You might win real big. You might win so big they got to change the company to your name or whatever you want it to be, because the investors and stakeholders and all of the people, they like, well, look, we too invested for this to go under just because one person. So we'll make you the CEO. We'll make you the president. And whoever that was, we don't even know who they are. We don't even want to know who they are. We're focused on you now. We're focused on you. So if that's what you got to do that. But there's a way to tell, and there's a way to give your testimony so that these things will change. But we don't know about those things. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to fill the gap between a lot of the things that's happening in the African American community and in business. It's two different things. There's a gap there. And as long as that gap exists, we can't get together and grow as a country. And that's why we have competitors overseas who just killing us in business. The business economy is booming for them, and it is going under for us Americans. Everybody's going around to the store and they're like, this costs $5. I remember back when that was 50 cents. Inflation happens because of a result. It's a reaction. It's not just random. It's so random. No, it's happening for a reason. It's happening because you didn't tell, and because you didn't tell, something else happened that was bad because you didn't have the wherewithal to understand how important your telling was. So then the company failed. So now they say, well, we'll just reopen this same business with the same business plan and the same business model, the same people, except for that one person who cost us all of this trouble. We're going to build the same company under a different name, and nothing else will change. Maybe the location and whomever it was that caused the chaos, but the same thing is going to be the same way somewhere else, unless you tell. And not only that, they're going to raise the price now, because now they have to cover all the expenses that it took for them to relocate, high and all of the chaos that they had to pay. And if they had to pay out in litigations and lawsuits and settlements, that's why it increases. So that thing you paid 25 cents for before, maybe 10 cents for, because it was, something petty like this, 10 cents. Now you paying $20 for this little piece of leather, or because now they have to get their money's worth because they got to make it up on the back end. For example, during the pandemic, everybody was quarantined, and people, after a while, they was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So gas prices was so cheap. You would have sworn gas prices just started. They just started selling cars and nobody really has one. That's how cheap the gas prices were. You could get a quarter and get you some gas. And they was like, all right, peep game. Just wait, just wait. And they bided their times. The oil barons and everybody bided their times. They whined, they moaned, they complained, they lost money, they lost profits. But they was like, all right, peep game, peep game. And what they did was they sat back in the cut and they waited. They waited for you to come outside. Yeah, meet me outside, right? And they was like, now that you outside, now we got you out here. Now you're gonna pay all the money back that we lost during the pandemic and you quarantining. We're gonna we're gonna get that back and then some, okay? Because now we gotta make some people happy that's invested in our oil bearing companies and things like that. We gotta get them people back on board and say, hey, even though you lost then, you lost big then, but look, you recoup it because now we got them paying all this money. It's $100 every 5 days for somebody to get some gas for the week so they go to work for 5 days. Look, and that doesn't include them doing anything on the weekend. So if they gonna add the weekend, it's another $50 because we gonna increase the prices of the oil on the most highest travel days, such as the weekends, holidays, or whatever. So they gonna pay twice as much that they want to leave now. So so you see how that works? Unless you start to tell, it's a chain reaction of events that's going to happen so that we can stop all this craziness. They don't do that in countries where they have higher moral values than what American businesses practice. Because American businesses, they're more focused on the bottom line. And as long as you don't affect their bottom line in a negative or really drastic way, I should say, because in a negative way, they just shrug it off and it'll build back up and they'll put, more money in the curse jar, in the swear jar. They're like, I just put another, $5, $100. They all bearers. They got money to wipe their behind with and flush it down the toilet for the next person to find. All right. $1,000 they wiping themselves with. They don't care. So this is what I'm trying to tell you because you care. You want to see the change. This stuff affects you most immediately. As somebody that's your friend is complaining, they're like, well, man, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm tired of this and I don't want to be bothered with that. This is how you make the change. You have to tell. You have to, participate in these surveys and speak your mind. And if they say things to you like, well, this is a yes and no answer, you say, you write down my comments. At least write down this much. So, and watch them write it because those telemarketers, they have to do that so that the researchers will know what people are saying that's outside of the yes and no realms of the question so that they can come back and say, you know what, out of all the people we studied, you know, 8 out of 10 said the same thing. So let's look and see if that's another aspect of this evaluation that we need to explore. This phenomenon is so big, it's and so many emerging concepts that's coming from these things. Everybody's like, well, man, we need to let these people talk a little bit more instead of just asking them yes and no questions. So if you see a comment box on a survey that you take, please say something in there. I don't care if it's not that many words, but don't be one word texting like your baby daddy. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, say something in there that will help to make the changes you want to see. Because the only way these changes are taking place is someone's doing the research and they are reporting what the people are saying. For example, I was watching YouTube earlier and they said 58% of the people polled said that Trump should be held accountable for January 6th. But how many people did they poll? Who did they poll? So it's very important. And was it just yes and no questions? And in that yes and no question, who else was the option? So you have to understand when you're taking these surveys, it's important to put your comment in because then everybody will start to understand better why you said what you said. Now, I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was wrong. What I'm saying is you have that little backup to go along with what you're saying. And what does that mean? That means that yes or no isn't enough. Have the comment box. Say something. Speak on some of the stuff that you just answered yes and no to. That's helpful. But what you want to do is you can also make light of it. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be a very memorable survey. At least excited for the researcher that got to read it. I'm just saying, if you feel like, well, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. Say something funny, brighten up the researcher's day that's going to have to read these studies and say something funny in there. Like telemarketers call your house and you be mad. Why are you calling my house? Why are you calling my house? This is a do not disturb number. And say, my sons, the two little ones, they have an idea because they're always getting calls on their phone uh, from solicitors, and they'll pick up the phone and they'll speak a different language. They'll pick up the phone, they'll just start screaming. They they do some real random stuff because they want the person on the other end to be just as annoyed as they are that you disturbing them in their day. So take the surveys, give some constructive criticism, say something that's helpful towards the changes you want to see. The only way that changes are going to be made is that you have to play by their rules. And their rules say take the survey, tell. Their rules say send a complaint up the chain of command in the company because you can't talk about it to anyone else, but you could talk about it in extremely great detail to anybody in the company, anybody in the corporation of the organization that has the ability to make the changes you want to see, or at least correct the people who did wrong. And that's big. And then a lot of times you could put in there, I'm willing to still work here, but my supervisor fired me. My supervisor let me go after they stole my intellectual property. Yeah, put your complaint in the box at the work at the job, and not just at the job but go online and put it out there too to the company, because sometimes people will know that you put in that complaint in that box, and they'll go in that box right behind you and take it out, and it'll never see the day of light. So go and get online, get on all these medias, send an email. You can send an email to the CEO of your company. You can send an email to the vice president of a company. Write a letter. In that last video I said, stop talking about these uh Karens that say, I'm gonna write a letter. These little old ladies say, I'm gonna write a letter. You write your letter. You write the letter too. And remember, it's nothing wrong with telling. It's nothing wrong with telling on businesses because that's the way business work. And if you're not saying anything, you're not doing business right. And if you're saying something and things aren't happening, and you think you just left it right there, you're still not doing business right. You have to keep saying it because it bears repeating. In business, you be at the business meeting, you're like, oh, here we go, another board meeting. Oh, here we go. They saying the same thing. They saying the same thing. Okay, exactly. So you have to keep saying the same thing and don't get tired of saying the same thing. You be sitting at those business meetings like, ah, do they ever get tired of saying the same thing? When is this gonna end? Why are we? You have to say the same thing. They're trying to show you that this is the way business works. And if you want to be in business, and you do, because that's where your money coming from, that's where your livelihood is, you have to tell. You have to follow suit. And that's why another thing that I do in these videos is tell you how to self-soothe so that you can feel better about the things that you have to do. For example, the aquarium behind me, I look at that, and if you're looking at this video and you're like, I'm not even listening to what you're saying, I'm just watching the fish behind you. That's fine. Watch the fish behind me. They always doing something. They always doing something that's very entertaining. It's never the same thing. That's the thing about the difference between watching TV and all these other things. The fish are always doing something different. They never do the same thing twice. And that's right up my alley. I don't like to do the same thing twice. I don't like to watch movies and I've already seen it. You know, the movie didn't do anything different. Now, if it's a sequel, prequel, or something like that, I'm in it. I'm there for it. But I'm not really trying to watch the same thing twice. But anyway, one thing that I like to do that helped me. Now, there's a lot of my military friends and family on here that's watching these videos. Even if you're busy, you can't watch it today. You watch the videos and the recordings. So I appreciate that. Shout out to y'all. But one of the many things that I do to self-soothe is pictures. For example, back in the day when I was a little girl, Big Mom and them, they had pictures on the wall. You go to old people house, and Aunt Jerry, she had a bunch of pictures on the wall. It's like, man, what is going on? All these pictures, all these pictures. And it's like, I get it now. I get it. Those pictures are doing something for you because it's a memory set in place that you just you don't want to let go of. For example, when you have pictures of family and everybody, look at that. You see that? Let's see if I can get that focus. And there we go. That's one love right there. That's my sister and my brother. And it's like we on that day we took that picture, we were doing some real crazy stuff. We were doing crazy stuff. Like we was young. So, crazy kids do crazy things because they think they're invincible. They don't think they're gonna die. And we did some crazy stuff. So Chris was driving and it's Chicago, it's winter, it's snow on the ground and everything. He driving in the cul-de-sac and he hit the brake, put the parking brake on. We skidding and hydroplaning and doing donuts in the snow. It's like Jesus take the wheel. As two wheels come up off the ground, and Jesus just put the two wheels right back on the ground, so now you got all four wheels on the ground. It's stuff like that that get me through. And you see, this a keychain. It's a keychain. I used to take this with me everywhere I went, and I love it because the memory that it was, and it's like, man, you can't buy that. You can't, and it's one love. You can't buy that kind of love. You can't buy that kind of entertainment and whatnot. It's just something about it, and it's like, man, I take that with me. And there's so many more pictures that I have that really help get me through some things. um, it's like being military and having to leave home and leave your family and leave what's familiar to you. It could be difficult. So it's like these memories like this, and finding different ways. See, that's Chicago stuff. That's Chicago. They do some things. Chicago had these photo booths or whatever. There's this big buttons, and you got buttons with your pictures in it, and you got these little things that they make your picture into a keychain. Cool stuff like that came from Chicago. I ain't saying that other states don't have it or whatever. I'm just saying I ain't gonna knock where I came from. They had some cool stuff in Chicago. And some of that stuff, I took with me and it has gotten me through some hard times. So while it's like present in the presence, physical presence, it was over because I'm not there, and it'll be like long periods of time between me being home or whatnot. And it's like you have these mementos where it's like, okay, now, you know, I have something I can carry with me so I can remember this time. And just that memory alone, just as bright and colorful as this picture is, that's how the memory is in my head, in my mind. So while the party had to stop at some point in time, in my mind it just kept going. It just kept going. And I laugh and I just think about these things. Like my boy, when he had a car. He had the only car in the group, and all the guys and me, I was the only female, and we all would go kick it or whatever. And we don't have no money. We ain't going nowhere. We're a bunch of kids, college kids. We don't have no money. And we'll meet up at Dayton because that's where we met. And we'll go kick it on the way home. My boy with one car here, drive everybody off. Well, you could drop me off right here on your way. It's on your way. Just drop me off right there because everybody wanted to keep hanging out for as long as they could, but they know everybody has a destination. So between A and B, the school and dropping you off at whatever the bus stop was that was get you to, your home or whatever. My boy car, it was so bad. His car was so bad. It's like every part of the car was a different car. You didn't know what kind of car it was because the front bumper said Mercedes, the back bumper said Ford, one of the doors said Jeep Cherokee. You just didn't know. But we be in the car cracking up at it, just one love so hard that the car looked like it got hydraulics because we in there laughing so hard. When it's funny to you, you roll in the floor funny laughing type. So it's nowhere to roll in the floor because the car packed. So the car just bouncing like it's got hydraulics up in there. And I'm sure, I don't know for sure, because I was on the inside of the car. but I'm pretty sure everybody on the outside of the car could hear. And just at the matter of the fact that this hoopty, this pieced together hoopty bouncing like it's got hydraulics, everybody like, did you put hydraulics on that car? Nah, we in it's a car full of idiots just laughing. And everybody in there poor. You can tell everybody poor because we all got coats on. This in the wind and we in the car. But everybody bundled up. Everybody got hats on, coats zipped all the way up. In Chicago, it's cold. It's the windy city. It is winter, the dead of winter, and everybody up in there just crying, laughing, and everybody on the bus stop looking like they warmer than you, but they looking at y'all and shaking their head. They was looking at us shaking their head. I didn't care. We was having fun, and it was great. Um, And though we didn't have much money or whatever, what we had was a lot of laughs, a lot of love, and it was one love. It wasn't exclusive to, oh well, these people or those people, because some of the crew, this one young man, he was disabled. He was in a wheelchair. His legs didn't work, and his legs were shorter than the rest of his body. And yeah, we clown him a little bit, and he'll clown. Oh, he was hilarious. Don't let somebody tell you just because you look different or you have different abilities, or different inabilities, that you can't have fun and you can't laugh and you can't be a part of the crew, because you can. He was cool as ice. Okay, love hanging with him. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but it was a lot of people from Daly College in Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to all of y'all. It's one love. Every time y'all cross my mind, I pray for y'all. Cause I promise you, I want to see y'all when I get to heaven. Cause we gonna be we gonna have a whole quarter, and everybody gonna be over there trying to find out what y'all doing. What's so funny over there? What's going on? And we'll be like, y'all ain't ready. Y'all not ready. As we keep on laughing, but that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me laughing, and that's what carried me through a whole lot of difficult times. Because military life, or any kind of life where you have to be separated from your family and the things that's familiar to you, you need to laugh. You need to laugh like nobody's business. And you need that love to carry you through whatever you get ready to go through and help you with your mental status. Your mental health is most important. So those memories that you have, find a way to keep them fresh. Keep them fresh. Even if, okay, so over time, my friends, things happen. Things happen. People move on. Whatnot. I got married. I think I was the only one in the crew that got married. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the crew that got married. But anyway, yeah, I think I was. Anyway, so you move on. You had kids. I think I was the only one that had kids too. I don't know. Anyway, everybody moves on. That's the point. And it's like, you still have those memories. And every time we hook up, every time we reconnect, that's where we go with it. We always go right back to the jokes. My boy tell every time we call, every time we talk to each other, that's where we were at mentally. Remember when? Remember when? Yeah, yeah, I remember. Even though now we're older, grown, gained weight, and now he's gone, I can still hear him saying, the different things that we used to do back in the day. Because whenever I think of him, I would call him, but now I can't call him. So even still, I'll think about him and I can hear his voice, and his robust, unforgettable laugh. So it's those things that, even in life, when you're moving on, or everybody's going on doing their own thing, their individual thing, and even though after they're gone and you want to mourn, but you remember the good things, and that's going to carry you through. And I promise you, it hurts like crazy that my boy gone, but I can still hear his laugh. I can still hear him say, "Hey, T Dog, you ain't gonna believe this." And I still have his voicemail on my phone from the last time he called. I'm gonna have to record it somewhere else because LG don't make phones anymore, and I have a LG V30, and it's like, what? I'm not getting Apple phones, but I'm not getting rid of my Android. I'm just gonna move to a different type of Android. I don't know what kind of phone I'm gonna get next, but I have to get some other phone clearly because LG tripping. Like, LG, what's going on? What's wrong? I was supporting you. I was backing you. What happened? Anyway, I'm not knocking LG if y'all doing something greater and more fantastic. Great for you, but sad for me. That's what I'm saying. Y'all need to kick me back some funds, and everybody that supported y'all with these funds, y'all need to give us something, so we can get a rebate on a real phone now, because y'all just leaving us hanging out there. What about your little customers? What about us? So yes, I'm going to get on the site and I'm going to tell. I'm going to say, hey, my phone, what's going on? Y'all need to give me some money towards another phone, and don't give me no Apple, because I need the Android, because the Android give me the ability to piece that hoopty together so we can act like it got hydraulics, and we can take it places that's bigger and better than anything else, but cheaper. All about the money, all about the bottom dollar. But anyway, as long as you are, using your funds towards something else. Now, I don't buy Jordan gym shoes because they cost too much and they wear out too fast. That's the only reason. But well spent money invested in the right place, that's the idea. So I'm not knocking Jordans. If you got $1,000 to wipe your behind with and throw it in the toilet, that's great. Buy you a couple of Jordans, and me too. And hit that comment in there. Give me something to do this you know win the battle with this abusive relationship I'm having with my hair. And somebody put in the comments, they was like, oh, I don't like white shirts. All right, hit them comments with the with that Zelle, whatever the account is that we have on YouTube. Hit that up, and then you can make comments like, what you doing with my money? I thought you was gonna use it to comb your hair. Say something like that, but don't just be putting it out there like, you need to do something about your hair. Oh, I don't like white shirts. Don't say that. Hit that cash app. Hit that cash app. Until next time. And if you don't see me make a change, you ain't put enough money in there. Like I said, I need enough so I can get $1,000 to wipe my behind and put it in the toilet and not be my problem no more. Okay? That's what I'm saying. But anyway, until next time, remember, have something to help you, soothe yourself. And if it's a picture of family and memories, I can't. Oh, there we go. If it's a if it's a picture of family or whatever, that's great. But remember, something that gives you so much joy that you just can't. Every time you look at it, you laughing. Every time, like it just happened. All right. Until next time, remember, mental health is physical wealth.